Saddened by his friend's death, Jack Irons quietly announced that he was leaving the band.
And he left, and sort of Flea and I looked at each other and we said, you know, what do we do?
My friends are so depressed.
After losing their guitarist and drummer, only two of the Chili Peppers' four founding friends remained. But Anthony and Flea decided to carry on.
We knew that we weren't done yet. We knew that the life of the Red Hot Chili Peppers, you know, still had untapped creative energy, you know, that we didn't want to go to waste. And he and I were still best friends.
For a new guitarist, they didn't have to look any further than one of their biggest fans, 18-year-old guitar prodigy John Frusciante.
He's definitely a genius. He's got that mad scientist, guitar, art, love, spirit, genius in him. But he doesn't know how to drive a car. He doesn't have a credit card. You know, he doesn't function in the same road with the rest of the world, which is what makes him great.
When I first joined the band when I was 18, Flea and Anthony called me up. I kept real cool when I was on the phone with them, and then I hung up the phone and I screamed, "Calling the Red Hot Chili Peppers!" And I ran across the house and I jumped up on a wall, and there was like these footmarks on the wall of that apartment.
With John Frusciante on board, it was time to find a new drummer. The hard-hitting Chad Smith was the last of more than 30 to audition. Just as quickly, the newly formed foursome was in the studio recording the band's fourth CD. Released in September '89, Mother's Milk became the Chili Peppers' first gold album. Hits like Knock Me Down kept Mother's Milk on the U.S. charts for over 8 months.
If you see me getting high, if you see me getting high, knock me down. I'm nothing like. It's hard to believe that there's nobody out there. It's hard to believe that I'm all alone. At least I have her love to see she loves me. Lonely as I am, together we cry.
Released in October '91, Blood Sugar Sex Magik would go on to sell more than 8 million copies. It was truly a landmark album. And to support it, the band embarked on a marathon world tour. The Red Hot Chili Peppers were now playing stadiums with passionate fans. The Chili Peppers were red hot, but not everyone was embracing their new fame.
I just didn't like the way everybody was responding to the success that we were having. I was confused myself about how to deal with it, as everybody was.
As the tour wore on, John grew increasingly disenchanted and distanced himself from the rest of the band.
John was just up there like he didn't give about anything, you know? And you can't be in a group and not care. It's gonna show. And it did. A lot of the shows were terrible.
You can only enjoy it for so much when the band isn't talking, you know. Me and Anthony basically toured together for a year without really talking at all. And things got worse and worse.
Then on May 7th, 1992, tensions between the band and John Frusciante came to a head. Just hours before a concert at one of Japan's largest arenas, John told the band he was quitting the Chili Peppers.
I remember calling our tour manager at the venue to say, I just got in, how's everything going? And he said, well, it's not going really well. John won't go on stage. I mean, what do you mean won't go on stage? He quit. I said, he quit. He said, he quit. I said, don't quit. Tell him to get his ass on the stage. I said, I'll be right there.
The band convinced John to play that evening, but by the following morning, he was gone. After he left the band, a Dutch TV crew making a Chili Peppers documentary discovered John immersed in the dark and dangerous world of heroin. He said he had never so much as sampled the drug before leaving the band, but in a few short months, heroin had taken hold of his life.
Now, you just said you're using heroin. I mean, what does it mean to you?
It's just a way of making sure you stay in touch with beauty instead of letting the ugliness of the world corrupt your soul.
He was pretty out of his mind, as I have been many times in my own life, so, you know, very easy for me to know that place where you just don't relate to the rest of the world, and, you know, nothing really makes sense. I thought I've lost a friend forever, and I don't want him to die, you know, so I prayed for him. Please, you know, don't let John die.
But Hillel had lost his battle with heroin, and John wasn't even putting up a fight.
I stayed in touch with him through the whole time, and, you know, it was difficult to be around him in that time. I just thought he was going to die. I mean, I was sure that John was going to die.
I had just deteriorated so much that I was ready to die. And all I can remember is I wanted a gun bad so I could shoot myself, you know. I'd really lost the will to live completely. My heart had broken completely.
In the fall of '97, friends finally persuaded John to enter rehab.
That period of my life had run its course, and I knew that, and it was time for a new chapter to begin.
For those who witnessed his decline, John's recovery was nothing short of miraculous. But it would be just the first in a series of astounding events.
I just went over to his house and asked him, you know, what would you think about being in a band again? And I just remember his face turned bright red, bright beet red, and he was like, oh, well, I think that'd be a good idea. You know?
In April 1998, after a 6-year absence, John Frusciante reunited with the rest of the Red Hots, and the band embarked on a new chapter.
Now he is like the most focused, dedicated, awesome, awe-inspiring artist that I know. I mean, it's like someone who I'm absolutely challenged to play with because he's so good, and he's so smart, and he's so on it, and it's just amazing. It's really amazing.
We're not taking it for granted and really, you know, realizing what we've got and how special it is.
It was really the best. It was like, you know, having someone die in your family and then come back to life.
And John wasn't the only one coming back to life. After years of chasing his own demons, Anthony says he too has dealt with his addictions.
I finally was able to get honest with myself and say, you know what, you're just a liar if you think you can go out and do that and not destroy your life and everything around you. Whereas before I kept thinking somehow I could get away with it, somehow I could manage it, somehow I could control it, which is basically lying to myself.
In the summer of '99, the rejuvenated Red Hots released their 7th album, Californication. The record was peppered with bittersweet songs inspired by the hard lessons the band had learned.
For us, it's really about always staying true to our hearts and always being open to grow, even though it's painful, because growth is always painful.
How long will I slide?
For the Peppers, pain paid off. Headlined by introspective songs like Scar Tissue and Other Side, Californication became the group's most popular album to date, selling a stunning 13 million copies worldwide. The Peppers packed their bags for a triumphant world tour, then returned to LA to work on their follow-up album, By the Way, is set for release in July of 2002.
We spent a lot of time in the rehearsal studio just going over every note and trying to find the most simple, beautiful way we could to express, you know, the most complex feelings.
The music we've done now has surpassed my expectations of what I would have thought we were capable of doing. We don't have any limitations on ourselves anymore.
We have all this time behind us to look at and to see where we've made mistakes and what we've done to hurt ourselves or to hurt the band. And it's like now we can be together and we know the bottom line is the love and respect for ourselves and for our music.
It's understood